Welcome back to Riding Bikes in San Diego. Sometimes people float Utah as an alternative to 30th Street, so here we are. We turned off of Meade and we are in a door zone bike lane, and the paint is recently redone. It had faded away a long time ago, but we are riding in this now and thought we could take a look at it. The reason we're not on 30th at the moment is because we don't have any intentions to stop at the businesses on 30th. Our intentions will be made clear by the end of the video. But we're crossing El Cajon Boulevard now, and man, what a strode, huh? The paint there is all faded up, and this bike paint is also faded. We stay in the door zone as we head towards Howard, and often, especially when the 30th Street bike lane was going in, opponents would say, oh, just use Utah. Utah is 2 blocks west, and it does not have the businesses that people on 30th tend to go to. So it's a residential area. It's not horrible, but this door zone bike lane is a little ridiculous. I've never gotten doored over here. I don't know if I've heard anybody getting doored over here, but this is a little kind of, it feels silly. It feels like a missed opportunity. And then, as you can see, these lines are so faded out that I feel safe enough only because there's not much traffic on here, but there are still quite a bit of drivers using this road. And when we get to this spot here, which is Polk, we continue with this bike paint, except that it's all faded, and there's also a bunch of construction happening over here, so we end up having to go out into the main lane anyway. And when I say we, in this case, I'm talking about my kid, who's riding there also. We're about to go on a group ride, and you'll see us arrive at that. But this construction is ongoing, and the construction really doesn't stop, which I'm not critiquing it. Development is a natural thing that happens in the city, and a lot of these projects take a long time, and these roads get compromised for months and years on end in some cases. Hopefully when they're done, there's real infrastructure. When we cross Lincoln here, any design goes away, which I always find really interesting. That's another reason why 30th is better. It is consistent, but you get down here and you get these 2 lanes of southbound traffic and no bike infrastructure whatsoever. We don't even have sharrows on this. Not that sharrows, make us safer, but we don't even have sharrows here. And what I find really interesting about the lack of design on this specific block is that once we cross University here, there's an elementary school right on the other side. So there's another school actually in Normal Heights where the bike lane stops a block north of it, and for Adams Elementary. I just find it really interesting that we have these lanes and they stop right before that last block before the elementary school, which means if children are riding their bicycles to school, they just lose out. Like, there's that giant gap in the bike lane right where we need it. So this is Jefferson Elementary. And what's my stake in this? I'm talking about being a parent in the neighborhood and riding around with your family, because parking in North Park is kind of a nightmare. We end up down here south of University on Utah, and now we had some sharrows there because you have to have parking for the school and the field, of course. But then midway through, we get a door zone bike lane again, and it is what it is. I don't get too far over to the right because, again, door zone. If anybody's sitting in their car right now looking at their cell phone and then they decide that they want to get out of the car, they don't always take the time to look. And that's the situation with a door zone bike lane. On this one, we have a buffer between the main travel lane and the bike lane, but no buffer for the door zone. I don't think that Utah is a good alternative to 30th. I think it's okay, but it does not provide what 30th provides, which is flex posts and also consistency. And I think that's really important. Um, and there's a lot of street parking here. All these homes have driveways, uh, and some of them have a bunch of cars in them, some of them don't. But this is the circumstance. I don't think that it is appropriate to compare the two routes. They're different, they're designed differently, and I mean, this one is inconsistent. This one does not actually have a bike lane the entire way. And I think that if you're going to make the argument that people on bikes should use one but not the other, and the other isn't necessary, then the one that's left should be in better shape than this one. This is a quiet part of the neighborhood, luckily, and we are approaching Upas here. And this is interesting because you actually need to be on Utah to access the infrastructure that they've made to go down Pershing. And you'll see that right here as we approach this stop sign where we stop because there are drivers coming. And we get into this green here that goes into the bi-directional bike path where you saw somebody pass a moment before. And if we stayed on this, it would take us straight to the Pershing bikeway where we go downhill and you have a pedestrian sidewalk as well as the bi-directional bike path. And we wait here. We are not going to go down Pershing today. Instead, we are going to Bird Park here. It's called that because it's shaped like a bird. Look at it from the sky. And we are going to go on the Pride Ride, which is an annual event where people get together and we do a bike ride around the neighborhood to celebrate San Diego Pride. While we do that, we are going to drive less and ride a bike. Thanks for coming along.